fighting right now the WBC World Lightweight Championship, featuring #1 ranked Edwin Rosario of Puerto Rico against #2 ranked Jose Luis Ramirez of Mexico. Rosario wearing the black trunks, Ramirez in the blue trunks before a capacity crowd at the Roberto Clemente Coliseum in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The two fighting it out for the vacated WBC title. Alexis Arguello held the crown, but he's concentrating right now on winning the junior welterweight championship. As you look at the experienced Ramirez, he's been a pro since he was 14 years old. Not unlike a lot of Mexican fighters, so he's been around for 10 years at the age of 24. Rosario is just 20. Al Michaels reporting from ringside in San Juan. Big question at the outset in regard to Rosario is the fact that he suffered a broken bone in his right wrist last June. He has not fought in 11 months. Here we go. WBC rules, thus a 12-round championship fight. And if the referee, who in this case is Arthur Mercanti, so decides, a standing 8 count can be ordered. Ramirez out of Mexico, a southpaw, a reported record of 83-3. But he dealt in relative obscurity for quite some time. It wasn't until late 1980 when he fought Alexis Arguello that he came into some form of prominence, as Arguello won a split decision in Miami. Meanwhile, Rosario, a reported 24-0 with 23 knockouts. He's been the distance just one time at a 10-rounder in Vegas in 1981. But again, the fractured right wrist, he had it in the cast for 4 months, and it's only been within the last 6 weeks that he was able to test it out at full speed. Good right. First time he employs it here in the first round. Rosario has been fighting as a junior lightweight, but he was ranked #1 in this class by virtue of his victory very impressively over another Puerto Rican, Edwin in Las Vegas last May. That was the last time Rosario fought, because the injury occurred in a sparring session a couple of weeks after that as he was preparing to fight Cubanito Perez. Good combination by Rosario. Ramirez, a crafty fighter. On a couple of instances in that fight with Arguello in 1980, it looked like he was in trouble, but then he was able to counter effectively, and indeed had Arguello in trouble at one particular point, had him down on the canvas in the 7th round. First round action from Puerto Rico. Ramirez also took on the WBA champion, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, and that was perhaps the low light of his career, as he lost the unanimous decision and was very nearly shut out on all of the cards. Contended that the ring surface that day was too slippery for him. Rosario pressing the action in the first round. Ramirez backing up for the most part. Half a minute to go in round 1. WBC World Lightweight Championship at stake. Ramirez trying to work his way into the left that was picked off. And Ramirez starting to press the action with that right jab. Rosario coming back with a right that was partially picked off as the first round concludes in San Juan. Live, San Juan, Puerto Rico, the Roberto Clemente Coliseum, WBC World Lightweight Championship. Black trunks, Edwin Rosario of Puerto Rico. Blue trunks, Jose Luis Ramirez of Mexico. Arthur Mercanti, the veteran referee, who has been the 3rd man in the ring for some 40-odd World Championship fights, and recognized by many as the world's best at his profession. He does not have a voice in the scoring. The 3 judges at ringside will do the scoring. 3 knockdown rule is waived. Mandatory 8 count in effect, and as we mentioned, Mercanti can issue a standing 8 count. No saving by the bell except in the 15th round. 3 judges from Dallas. Arlen Spider Bynum from Las Vegas. Lou Tabbitt from Los Angeles. Lou Filippo. Second round action. Not much real hitting thus far in the round. for the most part, it was Rosario pressing the action in the first round until the waning second. Good right there. But Ramirez is a good counterpuncher, as he proved against Arguello. Another right, and a good right by Rosario. The crowd really coming to life as he has Ramirez backing up, but Ramirez came back, as we mentioned. He's a great counterpuncher. Being a southpaw, he came back with a right hook that forced Rosario back after Edwin was very much pressing the issue. He did get Edwin's attention with the right hook. 1 minute remaining in the second round. Both men capable of knocking his opponent out, the record proving that. But both quite crafty and skillful. Here comes Rosario again, putting that pressure on. Ramirez trying to keep him off with that sticking right. And Mercanti steps in to separate them. Under a half minute remaining in the second round. Live from San Juan, Puerto Rico. A lot of folks down here with great anticipation for this fight. And of course, it's a pro-Rosario crowd. He lives just 20 miles away from San Juan. Second round ending. We're back live in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We want to welcome those of you who have watched the Boston-Michigan USFL game. I'm Al Michaels reporting from ringside. At stake, the WBC World Lightweight Championship. Black trunks, Edwin Rosario of Puerto Rico on the left. In the blue trunks, Jose Luis Ramirez of Mexico. The two fighting for the vacated lightweight crown, vacated when Alexis Arguello decided to concentrate his effort in the junior welterweight class in January. Thus, Rosario ranked #1, Ramirez ranked #2. Rosario, a fractured bone in his right wrist last June, has not fought since May of 1982. Rosario, undefeated, 24-0 with 23 knockouts. And Jose Luis Ramirez reported 83-3 with 69 of his wins coming by way of the knockout route. Ramirez, the southpaw. First round, Rosario put most of the pressure on. It was a relatively inactive round, but it was Rosario the aggressor early. Then in the second round, Rosario appeared to sting Ramirez, but Ramirez, a very effective counterpuncher, came back with, and keep in mind he's a southpaw, he came back with a right hook that pushed Rosario away and certainly gained his attention. And thus the round perhaps could have been scored for either man. Three judges at ringside doing the scoring. Good right by Rosario. The referee, Arthur Mercanti, no voice in the scoring. Third round. Rosario missing with a wild right. Those of you who watched that Boston-Michigan game, it is over, and the final score was 28-24. Michigan. Panthers winning it. Here, 25 seconds remaining. We're in the third round. Ramirez trying to work his way inside. A good left by Ramirez. Ramirez, 24 years old. Rosario, 20. The WBC World Lightweight Championship fight from San Juan into the third round right here. Fourth round action. This has the makings of a good one. Lightweight championship at stake, WBC version. Edwin Rosario, the black trunks. On the left, Jose Luis Ramirez of Mexico in the dark blue trunks. Ramirez has him in the corner, and see if he's effective here using that right jab, but Rosario is able to work his way out. 20-foot ring here in San Juan. Rosario, quite mobile, controlling the pace and tempo thus far in the fourth round. Job here of cutting off the ring, but he has not been able to do much landing. As you can see here again, he's got Rosario in the corner. He didn't do anything with him the last time he had him there. Now he tries to work inside, working to the body. Rosario with a good right. So a good right landed by Rosario off the ropes. To alert our local stations along the line at the end of this round, we'll be taking a station break. We have just over a minute remaining in the fourth round. Ramirez countering, but Rosario picking off most of those punches. Rosario again backed into the corner. Too many clean punches in the last couple of exchanges. Ramirez starting to throw a few more punches. A quick left by Rosario, and he comes back with a left hook with under a half minute to go in the fourth round. Left in the fourth round, and we'll return with more of ABC's Wide World of Sports after this from our local stations. Live in San Juan, fifth round action with the WBC World Lightweight Championship at stake. Close fight to this point. You could make a case, and we have, for giving Rosario perhaps all of the rounds to this point, yet there has not been any domination by Rosario. And neither fighter has really taken charge. As we are in the fifth round here, as Ramirez, who showed good mobility in the fourth round, comes out with the same sort of foot movement here in round 5. Rosario, who was backed against the ropes times in the fourth round, hand punch coming off the rope. Just asked Edwin. He did that, knocked him down in the second round and knocked him out in the third in Vegas. Crowd chanting Chapo, Chapo, the nickname, the name he wears across his waist on the black trunks. There is a C there. There it is as he turns. Good left by Ramirez and a wild right, but he did score with the left hand. Rosario turning, but now back comes Rosario, and the crowd getting to its feet and chanting as Rosario puts the pressure on, but Ramirez backs off the rope. Now he's got Rosario in the corner. Edwin trying to fight his way out, and a good left hand. That stung Ramirez. A good left hand coming out of the corner by Rosario. Fifth round. Again, almost by design, he gets himself into the corner because he's been effective working himself out of there. 45 seconds remaining in the 5th round. Both fighters like to counterpunch, and so periods of inaction as they await the others, awaiting the instigation of action. Good right again by Rosario. Been a good round for him. His best. And the best round of the fight thus far. Waning seconds of the 5th round. A good one and another good short right by Rosario with a WBC lightweight crown at stake. One of the more effective blows, the left hook landed in round 5 by Edwin Rosario. Again, live now, round 6. WBC Lightweight Championship live. We're in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Capacity crowd of 12,000 looking on at the Roberto Clemente Coliseum. Their man Rosario. We have him ahead on our card in the black trunks. Interestingly, Rosario from one of the nearby towns, and yet he has not fought in Puerto Rico in 3 years. Makes his home in Toa Baja. Rosario, who had a great round in round 5, has yet to throw a punch here in the 6th round. Moving, but not doing anything with his hands to this point. Now he again works his way out of that corner. Something he was very effective at doing in round 5. Two fighting for the lightweight championship. The crown vacated by Alexis Arguello. Ray Boom Boom Mancini is the WBA lightweight champion. Rosario. Rosario with a good sticking left, back with a left inside with a minute to go in the 6th round. And a good right. Ramirez just waiting. Now tries to counterpunch, tries to work his way out, but again it's Rosario dominating, and another good combination by Rosario. Rosario really putting the heat on now, and Ramirez is wobbly. Ramirez wearing down as Rosario has him backed into the corner with a half a minute to go in the 6th round. Ramirez very gutsy though, very game, trying to come back. Good action here in the 6th round, but the pace and flow controlled by Rosario, who has landed all of the effective blows. End of the 6th round. Here we go now, the 7th round with the WBC World Lightweight Championship at stake. The fight thus far, in our estimation, controlled by Edwin Rosario. On the left, in the black trunks, from Puerto Rico, Jose Luis Ramirez, the experienced yet young Mexican southpaw. He's been game. I want to remind you, next Saturday, Derby Day, the Kentucky Derby. You'll be seeing it live on ABC at 4:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 on the West Coast. Wide World will start at a special time, 1 hour earlier than the Derby next Saturday. That's 3:30 Eastern and live at 12:30 on the coast, and features the Kentucky Oaks, one of the top annual tests for fillies. It's Wide World beginning 3:30 Eastern next Saturday, followed by the Kentucky Derby. 1 minute gone in the 7th round. Also on Wide World next week, World Show Jumping Championship from Ireland, World Record High Dive Challenge from San Diego. Ramirez trying to up the action here in the pace because you would figure that Rosario, on the basis of what he has done through the first 6 rounds, is out in front. And it could be that he's rather substantially out in front. Rosario exhibiting a pattern here that is exhibited in the past couple of rounds, maybe even the past 3 or 4, and that is starting slowly and then coming on in the second half of a round. He certainly did it in 5 and 6, and he has started slowly, and now he's coming on again here in round 7. But back comes Ramirez. The half-minute mark of round 7. Ramirez having a good round. Has him back into the corner again. So Ramirez doing some effective scoring here in round 7. Well, here comes Rosario on again as the 7th round winds down. Start the 8th round now in San Juan, Puerto Rico, the WBC World Lightweight Championship. Edwin Rosario, who has not fought in nearly a year in the black trunks. Jose Luis Ramirez in the dark blue trunks. Ramirez on the left here in the 8th round. Rosario, for the most part, has controlled the pace and tempo of this fight. Ramirez, though, did come back with a good round in the 7th. Can make a good case for giving it to him. Again, referee Arthur McCanny does not score. The 3 judges at ringside do. 10-point unless it's... And under the relatively recent WBC edict, a 12-round championship fight, not 15. We're in the 8th. Pressure again here put on by Ramirez. But Rosario gets him backing away again with 2 quick sticking left jabs. So Rosario throughout the fight exhibiting the tendency to get himself, almost by design as we said before, backed into a corner and then works his way out with great effectiveness. Ramirez, he's what you might call in boxing terminology a trader. Likes to trade blows, as we said, an effective counterpuncher. Ramirez, at the age of 24, a pro since he was 14 years old, so a long road for him. Attempting to culminate it successfully today for the world title. 1 minute remaining in the 8th round. One thing about Rosario, if that right hand has bothered him in any way, he has not exhibited it overtly. Again, the fractured wrist. He was in a cast for 4 months after it was originally diagnosed as something other than a fracture. And then intensive training only in the last 6 weeks. 20 seconds remaining. 8th round. Ramirez pressing, as was the case in the 7th and preceding round. Rosario again working his way out of the corner. And the 8th round is nearly history. And there it is. That's the time, 4:30 Eastern time, 1:30 on the West Coast. Next Saturday from Churchill Downs in Louisville. You'll see it right here, the Kentucky Derby. Here, 9th round, WBC World Lightweight Championship. Rosario, for the most part, has controlled the pace. And we would have him ahead at this point, yet it has not been what you would call an extremely convincing 8 rounds by Edwin. And in a way, he's really manifested adopted his personality. He's not a brash, gregarious, outgoing sort of fella. Relatively quiet. Good left there. And he has fought a basic Rosario fight in a way, quite effective, except it's not typical in the sense that he's not put his man away very early. That had been the case early on in his career. Good exchange right there. Rosario early in his career with a lot of very early knockouts, but again, you have to consider the caliber of opposition. It wasn't that terrific, but he did open everybody's eyes by knocking out Berruet in 3, even though a lot of people felt that Berruet was over the hill at that point. Halfway through the 9th round, I'd like to alert our local stations. At the end of this round, we'll be taking a station break. 9th round scheduled 12-rounder in San Juan. Again now, Ramirez, as has been the case in the last 3 rounds, has picked up the pace, and he has begun to make the fight. Rosario is doing some occasional scoring, and he's showing good footwork and foot speed, but he has not landed with nearly the effectiveness of late that he did in the middle round. But now here he comes, as if on cue. And of course, Rosario's relative inactiveness, and we say that guardedly, in the last 2 rounds could be attributed to ring rustiness. Let's face it, he hasn't fought since the end of May of '82. And he's in with a very good lightweight in Ramirez, a man with great experience and a man who's beginning to score. We'll return with more of ABC's Wide World of Sports right after this from our local station. Start the 10th round in San Juan. Al Michaels at ringside. And again, let's emphasize the point. This is a 12-round championship fight. After starting rather strongly, Edwin Rosario perhaps has given up what we had as a rather substantial lead after the first 4 rounds, as Jose Luis Ramirez has done a good job in the latter rounds. And as a consequence, this one could be closer than we originally thought, or at least thought up until a couple of rounds ago. 10-point must system. Again, the 3 judges doing the scoring. No voice in the scoring for Arthur McCanny, the referee. Good right hand by Rosario, but Ramirez appears to be able to shake everything off. He has never really been in trouble. He was staggered early on, but has come back in fine fashion. Another good right. Rosario would not appear to be having any particular trouble against the southpaw. This is the 3rd time in his career that he's fought a left-hander. 3rd time reportedly in his career. Halfway through the 10th round. Ramirez, and this has been a posture the two have had with great frequency in this fight. Now Rosario backs away, but Ramirez has had Rosario against the ropes on a couple of occasions. Decent combination just thrown by Rosario, but back comes Ramirez now, pressing the issue. Ramirez stalking him across the ring. Good exchange by the two here in the 10th round. Under a minute to go in round 10. And a mouse developing under the left eye of Rosario. Rosario has been only 10 rounds once in his career. As we say, undefeated, and only once had he gone the distance. Ramirez really coming on now here in the latter rounds and scoring effectively here in the 10th round. Good action-packed round as we approach the 10-second mark in round 10. Rosario and Ramirez for the WBC lightweight championship. We're going to the 11th round, so Rosario early on was controlling things, but Ramirez has really come on. And as a consequence right now, this fight, we would think, would be very, very close. 10-point must system. Again, it begins with Rosario backed against the ropes by Ramirez. Developing under his left eye in the 10th round, and that left eye just beginning to close a little bit here in the 11th round. Puffiness. This is the longest he has ever gone in his career. And he is showing the effects of the lengthiest bout of his career, and also, obviously, the 11-month layoff from the ring, despite the fact he's only 20 years old. Now he begins to come on again, and the crowd responds, but he's unable to follow it up with much. Halfway mark of round 11, and the pattern in this round, as it's been for the last few, is that Rosario has been giving up ground as Ramirez keeps coming in. Three judges scoring at ringside from Dallas, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. Fighter Bynum, Lou Tabbitt, Lou Filippo. If they're scoring on the basis of aggression, it's Ramirez who's been picking up a lot of points because he has been making the latter half of the fight. In the final minute of round 11, scheduled for 12. Rosario, despite being pressed into the corner, has been landing some effective blows. Good right hand, a good right by Ramirez, but Rosario comes right back at him. Right above us, the southpaw landing a good right hook. The 11th round winding down. We've had plenty of action as we come to you live from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Pre-program note, Battle of the Network Stars annual edition coming up this Wednesday, 9 o'clock, 8 Central, here on ABC. Now the crowd really coming to life as we start the 12th and final round under the new WBC rules. World Lightweight Championship at stake. It's been a good one. Rosario and Ramirez, and the crowd chanting Chapo, Chapo. The nickname of Edwin Rosario, ranked number 1 by the WBC. Ramirez ranked number 2. The two battling for Arguello's vacated crown. Rosario, in most corners, was favored coming in. Gone in the final round. Ramirez again pressing the action here. Good right landed there by Ramirez, forcing Rosario back into the corner. Ramirez, certainly the fresher of the two as this fight winds down. We're halfway through the 12th round. Ramirez has been landing some very effective blows in the second half of this fight. Again, pressuring Rosario, who still has that mouse underneath his left eye, that eye partially closing in the last 3 rounds. So the southpaw out of Mexico in his 87th fight. And Rosario from here in Puerto Rico at the age of 20 with a minute remaining here in San Juan. Both men showing throughout their careers the ability to knock their opponents out and normally do it very early. But this one apparently will go the distance with 40 seconds remaining in the 12th round. Again, another good right hand by Ramirez. He's not landing the overwhelming punches, but he has done a tremendous amount of scoring. Good exchange here, and Rosario came out of that corner with a good right hand. But again, it's Ramirez showing no ill effects at all. And again, backing Rosario into the corner. So this one winding down, and we've had a lot of action in it from San Juan. Ramirez and Rosario. And there it is, it's all over, and it's interesting, and you can speculate forever as to what might have happened had they gone a 13, 14, and 15th round. But under the new rules, they go only 12, and thus the fight is over. The WBC Lightweight Championship in San Juan, and we'll be back with the decision right after this. With a flourish, and the action really picked up in the second half, and the decision's going to be very interesting. Edwin Rosario from Puerto Rico, the #1 ranked contender coming in, and his opposite number, Jose Luis Ramirez, who started somewhat slowly, but certainly came on and was much the fresher of the two at the end, the southpaw from Mexico, and the fight ending, as we said, with a flourish. Some example here of a flurry, some action that took place in the 12th and final round. Both men having at it. Rosario, as was the case through much of the latter stages of the fight, had been backed into the corner and was able to work his way out. So now the referee, Arthur McCandy, no voice in the scoring. Here's the decision. Fidel Cabrera is the ring announcer.
El juez Lu Filippo vota 115-113. El juez Albanum vota 115-113. Lieutenants vote 115-113. The winner by unanimous decision, Edwin Rosario.
Edwin Rosario. Rosario winning a unanimous decision. A close but unanimous decision. Edwin Rosario, the 20-year-old from Puerto Rico, who had not fought in nearly a year, and there is a very disappointed, obviously, Jose Luis Ramirez of Mexico, who cannot be particularly happy at this point. It could have gone either way. And the 3 American judges deciding in favor of Edwin Rosario. So Ramirez putting up a great fight and really carrying the latter stages of the fight. But it was Rosario who we would assume picked up a lot of points early on and then was effective in working his way off the ropes and out of the corners and did enough scoring of his own to pick up the victory. And so Rosario remains undefeated. He is now 26-0, a reported 26-0 with 24 knockouts, and Ramirez a reported 83-4. So Edwin Rosario has won the WBC World Lightweight Championship before a capacity crowd of 12,000 in San Juan. Al Michaels sings along from Puerto Rico. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies to Tokyo for more top business centers with 3-class Royal Pacific service.
And to recap the action in the United States Football League today, New Jersey Generals was 173 yards from Herschel Walker, defeated Denver 34-29. Michigan edged by in the last minute against Boston to win 28-24. Birmingham 35 and Washington 3, and